Are you tired of spending your time and money chasing strategy after strategy only to discover what worked 10, 5, or even 2 years ago is not working now? Things shift fast in the online space, and if you're not keeping up, you're getting left behind. It's time for something different. Welcome to the Marketing, Media, and Money Podcast, where every single episode will be jam-packed with proven, profitable strategies, behind-the-scenes secrets, and what's working now resources from industry experts and global influencers to help you scale your business, shorten your learning curve, and stand out in a crowded, noisy marketplace. And now, your host, award-winning marketing and media strategist, and international speaker, Patty Farmer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Marketing, Media, and Money Podcast. I'm your host, Patty Farmer, and I'm looking forward to sharing today's industry expert with you. And I have to tell you, I'm really excited today because I'm having somebody on the show that is not just a personal friend, a colleague, but someone I have collaborated with and networked with for pretty much almost a decade. So I know she walks the walk, not just talk the talk. So this is going to be an episode you really want to make sure you have a pen and paper for all those writer-downers that I know she's going to share with you. So let me tell you a little bit about her. So Gina Estrada is a financial consultant with Estrada and Associates and believes that all female business owners and entrepreneurs should be first and foremost financially organized. She built her financial services business by becoming a business networking expert, and she manages a team of 4 advisors and 2 assistants. They have 3,000 plus clients across the nation and manage over $100 million in assets. She's also a speaker and a best-selling author. She shares her networking expertise with purpose-driven individuals, groups, and organizations that wish to create a networking plan that is backed with a framework to grow their network, get more of their membership, and be recognized as a center of influence. Gina specializes in helping her clients be among the well-prepared and connected. Thank you so much, Gina, for being here with me today.
Patty, thank you for having me on your podcast. Before we begin, I have to say, I have enjoyed our friendship, valued it over the years. You are a consummate professional. Your podcast is wonderful. You're bringing massive information to a network that is valuable and implementable every single day. You are a forward thinker. I enjoy every minute I get with you, whether it's on the phone or in person or on Zoom. I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I'll buy dinner next time. No, just kidding. Love it. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that. So I have to say, Gina, I really feel like you have really mastered really how to go from financial freedom and balancing that with a lifestyle and a joyful life, which I think is really what everybody wants. Maybe a little bit different for people, but it's basically what everyone really, really wants. So first of all, how would you define financial freedom?
I define financial freedom as doing what I want, when I want, with whom I want, and not being bound by someone telling me where I need to be 8 to 5. That's the short version.
I love that because I really think financial freedom is so important. For me, I would say that financial freedom and time freedom are probably the biggest motivators for me in my life and in my business. So really, freedom is just so important, whatever it is for people, but it is the thing that is most people's why. So let's kind of talk about that. Let's just dive right in, right? So one of the things is really, it's all about how we do it differently, right? You know, I know that I have built my marketing and media company on collaboration and building relationships. That's the key thing for me. I know it is for you too. But how have you built your business differently than most financial consultants?
Interesting question, Patty. When I became an advisor, I had joined my husband's financial services practice that he had in business for 38 years at the time. And what happens when you go into a sales position is they tell you, or your manager tells you, to make a list of the 100 top people you know. I did that and realized that because I have been in business with my husband, although I wasn't officially an advisor, that all my contacts and my center of influences that I've been building up over the years were already clients and or centers of influence, or were not going to become clients. And I had to figure out quickly what I was going to do about creating a market for myself. I wasn't just there to support him in his business. I was there to build a business. I put in 70 to 80 hours a week for 4 years, just like anybody brand new in a position would do. And that included major networking. And that's where I delved into the science of proper networking, how to do it right, how to maximize your time. Maximizing time for me starts at 5 a.m., no matter what, every day of the week. It starts earlier sometimes, but it starts by 5 a.m. This is the key to success. When you can prepare your mind at 5 a.m. for all the things that you need to do, and that includes maximizing your time, because there are a lot of time wasters out there in today's world. We don't need to go over them all, but I feel getting your mindset, getting your calendar set for the day, getting your timers on to keep you on track, those are all ways of maximizing time. And we'll talk more about networking specific maximizing time, but it really does start at this 5 a.m. hour.
I know that is how you and I met and really became friends, was with the Miracle Morning, but then really following that up with the 5 a.m. Club. And I have to say, I think those two books, and the Bible, of course, have been the books that have literally changed my life and my business. Absolutely.
For sure. The Miracle Morning is a great reference if you're interested in looking to starting a morning practice. Even if you're not a 5 a.m. person, I get that pushback sometimes. Gina, I am a late person. I cannot get up at 5 a.m. I let them know it's okay. Just put something in place that works for you. And the Miracle Morning is a great reference tool to make it happen.
I think so too. I get pushback on that 5 a.m. as well. And I always like to say, really, the premise is what you do in the first, hour that you're awake, whether that's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. It's really having a process in place. And that has been very, very important in me growing my business and in really being able to have the lifestyle that I want to live. So let's talk about money. I always like to say revenue, right? And for me, I believe with all my heart that the revenue is in the relationships. But I also think that the revenue leaks are in your habits, right? And so I think that whether you're talking about your financial well-being or how organized you are, or whether you're talking about networking, there are revenue leaks. So what would you say are some of the common ones?
Common revenue leaks would be, of course, not managing your time. The other would be not having a good financial plan in place. And when I say good financial plan, it doesn't have to be elaborate or extensive. I have a really quick, even easy, proven process that gives you a one-page snapshot of where you are today. You get to set your goals for the future, and I show you if you're on track or you have gaps to goals. It's so easy, and people spend more time planning a 2 weeks vacation than what could be a 30-year retirement. It makes no financial sense to me. So there's the first leak. Get with a financial professional that you connect with, that you like, that has a good center of influence and has been in the business for a while, because there are a lot of people that transition in and out of financial services, and sit with them for 30 minutes. Just do a brief introduction. It will save you so much heartache and pain in the future if you do this. And by putting a nice plan in place, again, doesn't have to be elaborate, it just has to be something where it's trackable and you can see if you're on target or not, that will provide you peace of mind. You'll get better sleep. You'll know you could take the guesswork out of financial planning. And I think that is definitely a revenue loss when you're not paying attention to that. And if you're a business owner, getting with a good bookkeeper, having your book set up and knowing where your cash flow is coming from, where you should make tweaks, there's a lot of lost revenue inside your business. That is a huge gold mine. I recommend getting together with a solid bookkeeper that has some background as a CFO. There are a lot of people online. I have a couple references if you're interested in connecting with me later that I can turn you on to, but that is another revenue loss. And when it comes to networking, again, the revenue loss is in your time. If you're paying for events or social gatherings or organizations, there are all kinds of things that you need to look at to make sure you are not wasting that money and it's not falling out of your pocket.
I think that is so true. You can really spend a lot of money if you're networking ineffectively. So I think that is really true. And I always like to say, really, you have these gaps when you have these revenue leaks. And, in different ways, you and I help people to kind of plug those gaps. And I always like to say I fill them with the gaps with money. But when you're thinking about it, but from a networking point of view, there really are a lot of revenue losses there. So let's kind of flip the switch on that. What would you say are some really great traits of somebody that you would call a master networker?
Showing up early to events. Number one, something magical happens. Again, with that 5 o'clock hour, waking up and setting your positive mindset for the day, showing up early to events is huge. You get to meet the registrar, the executive directors of the event, the guest speakers, the powerful people in the room. They're there early. They're not running late. They're put together. Get yourself in order and show up early and put it in your calendar early. If the event starts at 10 a.m., make sure it's in your calendar for 9:30. That's when you're going to show up because you are a professional. And another thing that does for you is it gives you an opportunity to lend a hand if they have any last minute things they're trying to take care of and they don't have anybody to do it. Like you could step in and be their rescuer and you're going to be elevated in that room immediately. I can't tell you the amount of times I call it being mentioned from the pulpit, just because I showed up early and I was able to have talk time with the executive directors and or whoever was in charge of the program, standing on stage or the guest speaker. I always got a special mention. I laugh every time it happens now because it just automatically happens because I show up early. How powerful is that for you? If you get mentioned in front of all the people in the audience, specially pointed out, that's going to be memorable and people are going to keep you top of mind.
That is fabulous. So I know that you started EspressoBrain, and I love that too because you and I both have this real love for coffee as well. But why did you start EspressoBrain? Tell us about that.
EspressoBrain was born out of a passion project. But going back, when I became an advisor, I have a securities license, so FINRA and the SEC and my broker-dealer all have rules. And under those rules, you can only stand up and project and post and approved things. So what I did, because that was very time-consuming and it wasn't serving me well, when EspressoBrain.com was created, that became my outside business activity that has been approved, so I don't have to go back constantly for reapproval with all those powers that be. And I can teach my networking masterminds there. I can share the networking information. I can do podcasts like this under the EspressoBrain.com umbrella rather than my financial services Estrada and Associates. It was born because I was a member of the BNI chapter in Fresno. I was the president. It was back in 2004, 5, 6, and a few of us got together and read Timothy Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, which I highly recommend, another book I recommend. In the book, we followed his principles about using outsourcing and building a website and trying to figure out a product you could sell to create passive income. And my partners that read the book with me, Curlin Phipps, and a couple other people in the group that kind of dropped out. Curlin is a master computer programmer and has become a networking specialist as well. And he built the website and it's been evolving ever since. And that's where I kind of house everything networking. And that's where you can connect with me best, there on the EspressoBrain.com. And then in that, I have networking masterminds. I'm developing programs all the time to help people strategize and move their networking forward so they know exactly what to do, when to show up, what to say, how to follow up, how to have a proper one-on-one, how to move the relationship forward, and eventually how to make a sale. We don't talk enough about closing deals. That's in the future, but I just want to throw that out there that closing deals are really important.
Absolutely. And can you share a little bit? I love the story of how Espresso Brain teamed up with Mel Kaufman and about the book, Little Miracles, and how all of that came about and how you are utilizing that right now. Because I have to tell you, when I was a part of your mastermind and I found and read the Little Miracles book, I didn't understand from the name that I didn't really get that it was a networking book. Little Miracles, A Journey to Financial Freedom. I mean, it's a great title, but I didn't really get that it was about networking. But I have to tell you, I really love this book, and I have it in every format. So I think it's fabulous. So tell us a little bit about this team up.
Great story, Patty. Again, going back when I became an advisor and realized I needed to go out and meet new people, networking was the option. I went to my first networking event, and the first person I walk in and meet was a tall gentleman, and he smiled. We made eye contact, so I stopped and talked with him, and he talked so fast, spit was literally flying out of his mouth. He was handing me all his flyers, and I just thought, whoa, this is overwhelming, and how am I going to refer people to you? I don't even know you or really understand what you do. And he's like, I can give you $500 per referral. And I just said, okay, this is nuts. This can't be the way networking works. I didn't have a way to get out of the situation because I personally do not want to be rude to anybody I meet. I'm the nicest person you will meet, and I will give you the time, even though I shouldn't sometimes. But the only thing I could come up with is I really have to go to the bathroom. And he said, okay. And we were able to disconnect from each other. Went to the bathroom, ran to my car, sat in my car for a second. And I just said, there has to be a better way. This is random. It's not serving me well. It's wasting my time and money at this point. And it's taking away from my family. There are a lot of things that networking takes away from. So you have to be really specific. Back to the newsletter. At the very end, Mel Kaufman had a piece in there, and it simply said, how to politely end a conversation. Now, some of you that are older will get this, but I looked around. I'm like, am I being punked? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Is he going to jump out of my office? This is information I could have used last night, literally last night. And it simply said, it's been really nice meeting you. I'm sure there are others here you'd like to meet, and I hope to see you again. That is one conclusion you can have with someone when you don't want to move that relationship forward. You do not have time to connect with everybody. So committing that to memory was powerful for me. So I knew if I ever got into that situation again, I could get myself out quickly and easily and professionally and move on. Now, I took it one step further. I Googled Mel Kaufman, the author of The Little Miracles, A Journey to Financial Freedom, where the bit was taken in the newsletter. He lived in Walla Walla, Washington. He answered his phone. I said, hi, I'm Gina Estrada. I saw your blurb in our newsletter. Where can I get more information? He said, well, I have 99 more tips that I can send you. I said, great. So I can't go to the bookstore and get your book or order it on Amazon? He said, nope, I'm old school. And he's old school because he was in his 80s at the time. And when he wrote this book, he was probably in his 70s, late 70s. He was the Wilshire Chamber membership director, and he realized people were going to events through the chamber and handing out cards, and nobody was connecting and doing business with each other. Is the reason he wrote this very thoughtful book. So yes, Patty, you're right on the title. He's very spiritual and thoughtful. That's the title, Little Miracles, A Journey to Financial Freedom. And we became good friends. He mentored me. He encouraged me to share the book with others. In 1 year, I added 300 qualified prospects to my pipeline, all because of sharing the Little Miracles with other business owners who were also going out networking. And then as he aged, he gave us, me and my partner with EspressoBrain.com, the rights to the book. So when you want to order the book, you can go to the website and you can find it there, and it's available. And like Patty said, she didn't realize it was such a powerful networking book because of the title, but it is. It is worth its weight in gold. It is a short read, but a lifetime study. And that is my relationship with the author, Mel Kaufman. He's since passed, but enjoyed every minute. Actually brought him to the Central Valley in California for a hands-on seminar. Before we had social media blasting, we had over 100 people there because people were searching, and I think they are still searching today.
And I think what I love about that, since I have read the book, is that it really tells you how to network without relying on social media. I think that social media is such an amazing tool, but for some, it has become a crutch, right? They don't know how to network if they're not doing it on social media. And the reality really is that when you build relationships, and this is my opinion anyway, when you build relationships online and offline, you need to do both, and you need to treat them equally, but not identically.
Right. But the little miracles will help you with your online reach outs. I don't know if we have time if you want to go into that, Patty, but.
Absolutely. Let's just do this. Tell me a few of your favorite little tidbits. I could give mine just this week, really thinking about the committees and when you join something, what committees you should think about serving on. And it was just such a different perspective on how to do it that I thought it was so interesting, really, in how to do it. And so I thought, oh, now that was just like a different lens to look through, which I thought was really, really important. So I really love that. But there are just so many from that book. But I love the way you have, through Espresso Brain, taken those and how you teach them so that people can use them today, even though the book was written many, many years ago. And then people can take those and then apply them to social media if they need to. But I really, really love that. So what are some of your favorites?
Networking and selling don't mix. I think people approach networking in a way that just turns people off because they're leading with their business rather than with relationship building first, or just establishing whether or not this is someone I want to talk to or get to know. So knowing the difference, that networking is defined as sharing information, ideas, and resources, not selling.
That's important.
It is. And people forget it. It's easy to just go right back into that mind of, I got to make some sales and I got to get this lipstick or I got to get this product in someone's hands today. I'm desperate, but missing out on the mark. Again, lost revenue because you're not approaching networking properly. The second one is when you're trying to connect with a powerful professional, finding out where's their favorite watering hole? Where do they go after work for a drink? What nonprofit organizations do they support? Are they on a committee? Are they going to be at a nonprofit fundraiser? If you can afford a ticket to get in the room with powerful professionals that you've done homework on because you want to meet them, you need to think about money, because there is a cost to play to pay. But if you do it right, I can give you some free ideas, but if you do it right, you should get a nice return of investment if you do your homework and find out where these powerful professionals are. When I say powerful professionals, these are people that can move you and elevate you in your community. They can move your business forward. They can share information, ideas, and resources. They can open other doors for you. And with the proper questions, it's not scary. Networking is not scary.
I love that, because I think a lot of people think that it is. So quickly, could you share with us just a couple of icebreakers? Because for the people that may be listening that are thinking, oh, it is fearful for me. I don't like it, which probably means that they just haven't gotten really good at it, right? It's a skill. You know, a lot of times people say, oh, somebody's a natural born networker. I don't believe that. I think that it does seem to come easier to some people. I will say that. But you can become a master networker by just learning some skills. So what would you say are a few icebreakers that people could use when they're going to an event?
My favorite icebreakers are you a member of this organization? Have you been to this type event before? Do you have a networking plan? Because I'm interested in that. That's a question for me because I like to know the answers. What other organizations do you belong to in the area? Have you heard the speaker before? Just little things to get someone talking. You don't have to talk about the weather or the parking or the food or things that don't really gather you information. If you're really specific and direct on your icebreakers, you could immediately start gathering information that you're going to use to move this conversation forward. So being strategic and having those ready at the top of your head will take the guesswork out. And if you're an introvert, all you have to do is ask one question and let the other person talk and you listen.
I love that. I always like to say, for me, it's like listening between the lines.
For sure.
I think that is really important. I have to tell you, Gina, this has been absolutely fabulous. How can my audience connect with you? What's the best way?
Connecting with me on my website is the best way, EspressoBrain.com. You can fill out the form and reach out to me via email, and I will get right back to you, and we can take the relationship from there.
I absolutely love that. And you come bearing gifts as well, so I always love that. So tell us a little bit about the gift that you have for everyone.
I created a foolproof spreadsheet that maximizes your return of investment in your groups and organizations. It is filled with all kinds of information that will help you strategize and figure out how much actual money you're spending there, because it adds up. You have lunches, you have membership fees, you have raffle tickets, it could go on and on. That's another revenue slip if you're not paying attention to that. How much time are you spending there? How much time does it take you to get there and back? How many connections are you making? Are you taking advantage of all the perks of membership? So it's a spreadsheet full of information.
I love that. Thank you so much. That is very, very valuable. And we will have the link to that as well as everything else we talked about today in the show notes. So make sure you just grab them all right there. So now we've come to the time of the show. It's one of my favorite parts. I like to call this the hashtag OpenMic portion of the show, my version of social karaoke, so to speak, where I ask my guests to share with us their number one marketing, media, or money strategy.
Patty, today that would have to be networking without a solid plan is a complete waste of time and money. That's the theme of this podcast today.
Absolutely. That's a great strategy. And I really think that sometimes people really don't get it. And if you don't have a plan and you're thinking to myself, wow, I have been doing it wrong and I really need a plan, make sure that you connect with Gina. I do have to tell you, I have taken her networking mastermind. It was amazing. So check that out. And so Gina, thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you just being here and being so generous as always with your zone of genius, so to speak.
Thank you so much, Patty. I enjoyed every minute and I hope that serves your listeners well.
And I'm sure it will. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the Marketing, Media, Money podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, and I'm sure you did, please like, subscribe, and review the podcast on your favorite listening platform. Make sure you join us in our Facebook group, Marketing, Media, Money Magazine podcast and live event. And make sure to check out our sister publication, the Marketing, Media, Money Magazine, where you can grab your free lifetime subscription at marketingmediamoney.com. Thank you so much. Make it a phenomenal day. And remember, if your day isn't phenomenal, you have the power to change it.
Thank you for joining us today on the Marketing, Media, and Money podcast. To shorten your learning curve even more, make sure to grab your free copy of the Marketing, Media, and Money magazine at www.marketingmediamoney.com. I promise your business will thank you.